In Silo 17, the quest for Juliet's new suit is well underway. Last episode, she was able to get a fireman's suit by delving deeper into the flooded silo. However, she still needs a helmet considering hers was broken upon her arrival. Solo tells her that it was judicial raiders who blew up the groundwater pump on floor 144, which caused this flooding. However, in the first episode of the season, the rebel sheriff is informed by engineering that the generator will flood in 15 minutes. This could mean one of two things. It could be as simple as the sheriff merely being informed of the flooding Judicial caused, or that Solo was lying and it wasn't Judicial that flooded the generator at all. Why would Judicial and the people up top want to destroy the generator when they're the ones who want to stay? Solo's lies are called out by Juliet in this episode. He says his real name is Cole Mears, but when Juliet finds a list of personnel during her quest for a new helmet, the man on the page isn't Solo at all. Juliet later finds a picture of the real Solo with his girlfriend Tiny, and when Juliet confronts him about it, he goes absolutely nuts, claiming that he is Solo. The question becomes how unhinged he is and why he thought it necessary to take on the alias of another. It also makes me wonder if the two dead bodies outside the vault are somehow Solo and Tiny's. We've actually seen the real Cole Mears, or Solo, in the first episode. He's got that facial birthmark beside Russell, the head of IT. Did he die in the rebel attack? Did Solo do something to him? It's clear Solo is hiding something, including whatever happened to his eye. I'm really hoping we get a backstory episode that fills in these blanks. To make matters worse, Juliet's arm looks severely infected. Plus, the silo continues to fill with water, with Solo stating he has roughly 10 months before it reaches him. Unless the ground pump on floor 30 is fixed, Solo will have to eventually leave the silo as well. He wants Juliet to prioritize fixing it over her suit, but what will happen if she refuses? Will he snap again? At the end of the episode, Juliet winds up in an apartment that has the missing helmet. If this is Tiny and Solo's apartment, it could mean that one or both of them were a part of the rebels. Remember, we see a memorandum to all staff stating they're looking for the person who has borrowed this helmet. Why would someone take it if not to analyze its screen, tamper with it, or delay someone from going out to clean? It also makes things very interesting if the real Solo was secretly working with the rebels, even though he was the head of IT's shadow. This episode sees Bernard on the cusp of putting the potential rebellion down once and for all. If he can catch Knox and Shirley, who he framed for the murder of Judge Meadows, it should restore balance back to the silo. If, however, they find their way back down and tell their side of the story, things are going to get a lot worse. With Sims having betrayed Bernard's trust by going behind his back and attempting to impeach Meadows, Bernard demotes him to the position of judge. Now, in the eyes of the silo, this will be treated as a promotion, but since the position is nothing but a puppet for Bernard, it's really a demotion. Sims no longer has access to the Watcher Room, nor the same authority over the Raiders. In an attempt to gain the people's trust, Bernard enlists the help of Juliet's father, Dr. Pete Nichols. He could be a valuable asset to restore faith in the Pact, but Pete refuses. For too long, he has done the bidding of the powers that be, including lying to parents and giving them false hope about having children. Whether this will have any negative consequences for Pete remains to be seen. What I'm really interested in is Bernard's new job for Lucas. Last episode, Judge Meadows reduced Lucas's sentence from 10 years to 5, which isn't saying much considering the average life expectancy of someone working in the mines is 5 years. Bernard wants Lucas to reconstruct the hard drive he destroyed at the end of Season 1. Meadows told Bernard that this hard drive once belonged to Salvador Quinn, the head of IT during the last rebellion. On it is a handwritten love letter that then turns into a code, and this appears to be what Bernard is after. I actually think I know how to solve this code, but I'll save that for my trailer sleuthing section at the end. In addition to this note, Lucas was able to find blueprint fragments of the silo. However, this blueprint has a few additions not seen in official schematics. There are 2 lines leading from Judicial and IT and a tunnel at the very bottom, with Solo stating that IT has its own power supply from the outside world. Perhaps these lines are hydro tunnels that carry water and power from an outside source. The tunnel at the bottom, which George and Juliet tried to reach in Season 1, remains a mystery. I've theorized it connects to another silo, or all silos are connected this way. Bernard appears to genuinely not know what any of this is, so it's possible even he doesn't know that the power he's getting in his secret vault is supplied from somewhere else. However, you better believe he'll want to explore this further. The tunnel below will be much more difficult to access, considering the potential rebellion on his hands. Paul Billings continues his search for Patrick Kennedy, the man who firebombed the Raider station to incite a riot. Sims promised Patrick he'd wipe his memory in exchange for the bombing, as Patrick wanted to forget the pain of losing his wife. When Paul notices Patrick's niece bringing extra meals from the cafeteria, he questions her and finds Patrick. Initially, Patrick isn't too excited to see Paul, who would be considered on the side of Judicial. Paul gains his trust by showing him the page he ripped from Adventures in Georgia, enough goodwill that Patrick agrees to tell him everything if he gets a doctor. With Knox and Shirley framed for Judge Meadows' murder, they attempt to escape but face betrayal from Calvin, who sells them out to judicial. However, Camille, Sims's wife, saves them in a surprising move. Her motivations remain unclear, but it seems she's setting up Bernard to fail, potentially paving the way for Sims's advancement. What do you think will happen next? Share your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.